That's
shit.
Really the first thing you say is, oh shit.
Oh, hi everyone.
Oh, hi. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Oh, Mariah's here.
Yeah, Mariah's here. Cool.
This is week number 7 of our leftover show.
So that means she was able to get into the chat.
Right. That means it's totally a doable thing to do before we get live. But here we are. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And before we get into it, I'm Nima.
I'm Remy.
And thanks to everybody who joined the conversation last week and obviously this week as well. We already have a couple of people joining, but it means a lot. We've learned a lot. Even before we start this episode, somebody left a comment that says Lori wasn't in any of these dream sequences so far. We call it dream sequences. We mean the afterlife. That means maybe she's not dead. And that's awesome. I didn't even think about that.
Doesn't that mean it's more like purgatory?
Right. Right. Absolutely. Right. Purgatory. Because we don't know what comes after this. That's for sure.
Yeah. Welcome everyone. There's a significant amount of people watching our shows, and we'd like to thank everyone who keeps coming back at least, and our subscribers, and that feels good. So we're gonna try keep doing a good job with Nima. You know, we can try at least.
To keep doing a good job implies that we have done a good job at some point.
Well, you know, I don't know about you,
but let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm
crazy
already
episode.
feeling like you are not super stoked about this past episode.
I don't know. Oh, I've been looking for this water bottle for ages, and I just turned to my right, and it's right here.
That's called ADD, Nima.
I don't know if stoked is the right term because I was impressed by the filmmaking, by what they were trying to do. I was really impressed, but I'm just confused. That's where I am. Like,
yeah,
what the hell happened? And whatever that happened, what does it all mean? Because I'm sitting there going like,
I know, me too, man. I told you earlier, this show is too smart for us. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
So, my first note, which has nothing to do with any of the crazy stuff that's happening in this episode, it's that they brought back the opening theme music. And it's something that people have been...
felt so good.
Right? People have been complaining about it since season 1 because it was gone after season 2, right?
Gosh, that
after
felt
season 1.
so good hearing that haunting, beautiful piece of art again. And now with the new visual intro that, you know, they've used now for a while.
Right.
It has even more like depth to it. Just the song on its own.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. It's the first time I've actually been watching, and maybe it's the music coming back. It made you rethink every single picture that you're seeing with the people gone. You're just sitting there like,
yes,
it's hitting you
music
harder.
Is dramatic.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
like full of emotions.
Oh God, am I sweating already? Go ahead.
That was a good move. By the way, are you still sick or are you feeling better?
I'm feeling much, much better. To the point.
Is that like a fruity drink or juice?
It's a Bloody Mary. I don't know.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought earlier.
I don't know if it's considered a fruity drink, but it's delicious, and it's my favorite drink ever. You know this. Every place we go to, I usually get a Bloody Mary.
I know. That's why I was like, that looks red, but it didn't look that red.
Okay. Oh, yeah, let me switch on our comments.
Back on track.
So people can see the comment. Sorry, it looks like a mess, but that is a really good point. And I don't even know how to pronounce your name. I'm going to say Yol. Can I not be the guy who pronounces people's names? We have already established in the last episode that I can't do that, so.
Yolane.
All right.
Thanks for commenting. That just makes me think, why were both Kevins there? I don't know. Is there multiple universes going on at once around this story now?
It could be. And it kind of makes you wonder. I mean, more or less about the same question that's being asked right now in the chat is, I'm kind of wondering which Kevin is the one that's going back? Like, into the real world that we see, the one that comes back after this whole incident and has come back already after season 2?
Yeah.
Which one is it? Which one of the two Kevins in that universe is it that comes back?
I don't think there's two different Kevins in there. It's the same one. I think maybe it was meant to show an internal battle that I don't know. I mean,
sure. No, that's a good point. It could be an internal battle, but they specifically showed that it's two different ones because they can jump back and forth between the body. Like they can switch consciousness if they look through the reflective surfaces. So if during that other time, that other Kevin should be doing something. Like while we're watching the president Kevin, the assassin Kevin is doing shit, we assume. So, and it's not the consciousness of the main Kevin. So who is that person?
That's a good question. I think I need to rewatch this because the editing I think was done so well.
Super well.
It puts you in this like hazy place where you're like, wait a minute. He died, and then how do we end up with two different Kevin storyline in the Purgatory dream place?
Mm-hmm.
The president and the assassin is supposed to kill the president, and it's like, how did they do that? That was like really well done. If we got confused that well.
Getting confused is our kind of specialty.
But maybe they're trying to tell us something deeper with that, which I feel like they're always trying to do that with this show.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure true. And one of the things I noticed is we were talking about them bringing characters back, and they haven't brought Jill back yet. So you're right. But I was almost to the point of being like, told you, because they keep bringing characters back that are full on dead. They should be gone from the series, but they brought them back, and I was like, oh, they're doing a recap thing. At the end of the show, every character is going to come back and you're going to be like, oh, it's that guy or it's that lady. Speaking of Megan, I was going to ask you what her name was, but it just came back to me.
Megan, yeah.
Yeah.
What about her?
I was just going to ask you what her name was. I'm glad everybody came back. Like these crazy, even side characters. Like
yeah, I mean, I hate Patty's attitude, but the actress playing her is so tremendous.
Yeah. You hate the character. Yeah.
You hate the character, but at the same time, like, there's a depth to her that's like, wow. She's becoming a bigger actress, this one, too. She's playing in the Hand's Tale Maids or whatever. Handmaid's Tale or something. I don't know. People are going to make fun of me.
Oh, this is the one that you and your wife told me to watch.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. Mariah has.
Okay. No, I've heard a lot of good things from other random people, too. And you know what I love? Don just said, hopefully Linderoff explains what the hell this episode meant. It kind of makes me feel good that I'm not the only one that's super lost. Like, I feel less like an idiot now to know more of our viewers that actually help us in the previous episodes are like, yeah, I didn't get it either.
Are you trying to say that you just feel like you're not the only dumb person out there?
Yeah, it just feels good, man. There's a whole group of us.
Yes. Finally, Nima, we found our people. Cheers to everyone. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for watching. And still a great show, in my opinion.
Fantastic. Like
very, very. Maybe it's really not that deep as we think it is. Maybe Kevin's just some regular guy having some crazy like things, but he does die and come back, so it really puts it in a weird category.
It's deep in a way. Maybe it's not like intellectually it might not be trying to give a strong message, but it's deep in a way that what you're seeing definitely is not what the writer immediately meant. There's multiple layers to it. It's deep in that level for sure.
Yeah, it's like an onion.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Which, by the way, I forgot to buy some onions today because I'm grilling tomorrow. So for the first time, everyone clap. Anyways, tangent. No, so yeah, that's a good point you're making.
I'm always making good points.
True that. True story, Nima. True story. Maybe it's not trying to show us a message. Maybe it's trying to show us that life was all about decisions, and it's really hard to make those decisions, and no one knows. On a broader scale, no one knows why we're here or what's going to happen next day, and like it makes you think about life these ways. And these characters are going through very similar things that, in a way, everybody's going through in their lives.
Right. I mean, no, you're definitely right. But I mean, they're going through it in kind of an extreme way. Like when you're talking about Kevin, he's been such a tragic character throughout this whole show. And in this episode, there was a couple times where he comes to the point of either happiness or just being content. And that's when he's close to death or when he's experiencing death. So what does that mean when it comes to your point, which is like decision making that we all go through as human beings, which is right. But I mean, I hope the message of this show isn't that, you're going to find solidarity and happiness when you're close to the point of death. Like that's not a good message to give to people.
I don't think that's that. Even though, I don't know. Even though as you get closer to dying, maybe you're supposed to like be more enlightened in some way.
Right.
But he loves going there. Remember when he tells Dory that he he's like excited in a way about going to that place.
Yeah,
because
he's
he
never
so
felt more alive. Exactly.
Right. And he goes through so many emotions when he's in those dreams. I mean, he had to kill himself in the dream in order to retrieve this key to end the dream. How did he know that?
Yeah.
See, that's where it leaves it. Like, Kevin's been asked this question within this episode twice. Why is he doing what he's doing?
What do you mean?
Is it to say? I think the episode is asking us one more time. Does Kevin believe in this whole end of the world and that he's there to save it, or is he going there, dying one more time for a different reason, to find maybe closure with the whole Nora thing or understanding about it? Because his old dream was really like close with his feelings with Nora.
Correct.
Even at the end, when he's having a conversation with himself as he's retrieving the key from his own self, Nora comes up, and that's the closing thing, and then he wakes up in the chapel with John and Tom. Not Tom. Michael.
Okay, that is a really good thing, because now that you've said that, I'm wondering, how did he come back? Because in the previous seasons, Purgatory sequences, God is the one that told him how to come back, right?
You mean how to end the dream so that he can go back?
Correct. But in this episode, he doesn't. He kind of cuts ties with this God character.
But he does talk to him at the beginning of it on the phone.
Yeah, but it's no longer in a helpful way. He drops the mic, so he doesn't hear what God says anymore.
Man, yeah, I'm just like that.
Honestly, like, we have one episode left. There's a lot to explain in that one episode.
I know. I don't think they can explain it. I think they can just have him and Nora together.
Mm-hmm. Are we speculating now? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think now he's just gonna go after her because he like figured some things out that he did. What he left and he shouldn't have.
Right.
You know, when there was like these small cut edits to him leaving the room and hanging out with Nora and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what he's gonna do next episode.
Go back to Nora.
Yeah.
This episode actually genuinely made me miss Nora, and Nora's not a character that I've liked a lot in the previous episodes.
Yeah, she's great though.
She is great, and this is another example of what a good filmmaker who has confidence in what they're making can do. Is they can make me miss a character that I more or less didn't like. During this episode, you're just like, oh, she's charming and she's awesome, and you're like, Kevin's broken without her. So those are like good things to convey to an audience that I felt nothing for Nora previously. Like,
so maybe his whole Purgatory, because he's been asked he's being asked what is he doing there. Maybe he's there to figure something out about Nora, to like figure out, because there was a small edit. It was like Michael asks him, "What are you going there for?" Or I don't know what he asks him, and all of a sudden you see Kevin thinking about Nora for like a split second, and you see her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he's going there, and I feel like his whole time within the dream sequence, he was still trying to get the answers for the other people, like his dad and the lady,
right?
And then Evie and John. But I feel like he was there to convince himself he should go back to Nora. I don't know. I'm just confused now. I'm just like shooting random things out into the.
I think the random things you're shooting are right on the spot. So I couldn't take my notes fast enough as you were talking. Like, you're right. So those people sent Kevin. Like, Kevin used those people, like Michael and the lady in Australia and Kevin Sr., as an excuse to go back. He wanted to go back, and it seemed like, to me, that was his excuse.
Sure.
But you're right. If the whole time he's in the Purgatory, he's thinking about Nora. Nora's not dead. What the hell does you being in Purgatory going to help you in anything at all to do with Nora?
I think the Purgatory for Kevin is a place where he can have answers to bigger questions that he has.
Okay.
Or to serve a purpose.
So what?
Like the first time he goes there with Michael's grandfather.
Right. With the hotel thing.
We still don't know why he kills himself. Maybe because he didn't believe Anyways, I don't know. By the way, that Michael's grandpa, I think, is one of the secret agents in
Really?
X-Files. Yes.
In X-Files?
Yeah. In the first few seasons, he gets killed eventually. But
all right, we're going back to a show that's.
Anyways, started it all.
So, what question? Like, if you're saying Kevin's going there to get questions answered, what question did he get answered at all? Like, obviously,
I think this time he just went there to, first of all, answer the questions that his friends had. Because I think at this point he's like, okay, I know if I go to that place, I can answer a lot of questions and I can talk to people. Like he's able to talk to the lady's kids. Or maybe he's just saying that because that's what his brain wants him to see. Who knows? He still dies, though. And that's crazy. Sorry, I had a mishap. I don't know, man. Re-ask me that question because it was a good one and I lost my train of thought.
I do that all the time where I start saying something and by the end of it, I'm like, wait, what was I trying to say?
What was my point?
My question was if he's going there to get questions answered. And I feel like you're right about that. Because every time he's gone some sort of knowledge about himself. So why was he going there this time? What's the question that he's trying to get answered? Or what question did he get answered at all? Like the only thing that happened...
Maybe not questions answered. Maybe more like... If the whole him getting the key in order to blow up the world was a verbatim metaphor for it's the end of the world and God is making it happen or whatever, if he's that powerful and is able to, but doing this and launching the missiles did not make that happen, which means maybe he didn't want it to happen. So he was there to obviously think about Nora.
Dude, okay, if you're gonna dropping a bomb like that you're dropping, like I can just easily rebuttal and be like, how do we know that didn't actually end the world? Like I said in the previous episodes,
there's that too. Like, how do we know? But again, then why do we care about where the story? Then it's just a story. It could be from like only Kevin's perspective, and another perspective could be like everybody's dead. This is someone's dream, or everybody's alive and they're all crazy, or this is another dimension. Yeah, I mean, sure, we can look at it this way. Then let's not even ask the question, what happened? Then it's just a story that's been told this way to let the people like us try to figure out ourselves.
Right, but at the same time, if we're trying to figure out, because this is, like, as Yoel said, this is getting close to the point of, like, being the Lost kind of ending, where it's vague, it answers some questions, opens up a whole bunch of other avenues of questions that are down the road. Like I said, we have one episode left. This, you know how you have a theory of the episode before the end of HBO shows usually is this massive one to get you to come back. I feel like they did it with this one. It's the massive episode. So much happened, yet all of us are just sitting there going like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Like at least with Game of Thrones, like, oh, this character died. I wonder what happens in the next episode. None of that happened in this. Like,
yeah, totally. There's no huge like plot twist. Or was there that we just missed?
Oh, let me ask you this: is the Purgatory or whatever we want to call it, this afterlife dream sequence thing?
Yeah.
Have they established that's one continuing universe or timeline, whatever you want to call it? Is it one that Kevin just keeps tapping into at different points, or is it that every time he dies, it's recreated, and that's the one that you see at that sequence, and then goes away?
It's probably just recreated because he kills Patty when the head of that organization was getting traction. Now the head of that organization is the president of the U.S.
Yeah, but Patty in that sequence...
I think it does, but not because he does kill Patty.
He kills somebody that says she's not Patty, though. Remember?
Right.
As she's about to kill...
yeah, that's true. But that fake Patty was... She was what was her status in that first dream sequence? The one where Kevin wakes up and he puts on the suit and is an assassin.
Senator or something.
Oh, right. But he does end up killing the senator within that dream, doesn't he? Okay.
Yeah, she definitely dies, and the little girl that is apparently Patty's consciousness in her body also gets killed.
Right.
So that was going to be my next question is the whole missile strike that happens at the end of this episode. I was going to ask you, does that mean he destroyed the Purgatory universe completely? But that goes out the window if it's just recreated every time he dies. No answer. Like, there's no way. That's such a confusing question, and I'm not expecting.
Yeah,
yeah. Sorry.
It's all good. I mean, we're having a drink. Hold on.
That's okay.
My brain is on fire right now.
While Remy's drinking, for our viewers, we appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for tuning. If you guys have thoughts or if there's something we're missing, just let us know in the chat. I'll try to put up it on the screen, but otherwise, we'll definitely address it.
Yes, someone please give us some guidance here.
Yeah, Damon, if you're in the chat, just let us know what the hell you were talking about in this whole show. We would love to know.
Who?
Damon Landroff, the creator of the show. And the writer of Lost.
Sure, he watches us.
Right, along with Moby and who else?
There was a few other people out there.
Right.
Hi, everyone. So, Nima, this is we're getting to the end of our third season, really.
Right? Yeah.
So this will be the end of season 3 next Sunday, and then we move on to Game of Thrones with maybe some things in between.
We need something in between.
Yeah, let's do some Netflix.
We're going to do House of Cards.
Right. On Tuesday evening, we're going to watch the first episode at least. We know the whole season drops at once, but we don't have the luxury yet to be able to find the time and, the break with work to watch the whole season on Netflix and then do something about it.
But that's okay,
as soon as we can, we will, because that sounds fun.
No, I mean, that's completely okay because you never know. Maybe this is the way people would rather watch Netflix shows.
Yeah, that's why we're trying stuff, really.
Yeah, so we'll find out how it works for us and how it works for the viewers or anybody that's interested in House of Cards. So that starts this Tuesday, and then obviously this show, Leftovers, ends next Sunday. So then we have a gap between that and Game of Thrones. So we're trying to figure out what to fill that gap with. So
we might do maybe a movie. We might
do
some other stuff. I don't know. What movie should we go watch that's kind of like, kind of deeper philosophically?
Ooh, you know what really deep intellectual movie is coming out soon?
Transformers.
Wonder Woman.
Really I'm so down to see that.
Yeah, we should see that. I'm excited for it.
Does that come out during that period of time?
June 5th. It comes out.
Oh, the day before the Game of Thrones?
I think so. Man,
that's gonna be tough, man. But let's do it. Let's go watch it and then do something about it really quick, and then next day is Game of Thrones.
All right, that means we have to go back to the movie theaters, which I genuinely hate going to the movie theaters.
Yeah, but they have the recliners now, and you can get a beer and drink it while you're watching the movie. It's pretty cool.
That's fine. We're off on a tangent. Should we go?
I know, man.
Right back to Leftovers. Do we have anything?
Do we want to? I mean, I'm so confused. You're so confused. We're all so confused.
Let's all be confused together. That's why I told you at the beginning of this, I think this might be a shorter episode, simply because of how confused we were. Like, a lot happened. You're seeing a lot of, like, incredible television right in front of you, but when it comes to having that water cooler discussion of theories and things, yeah, everybody's just sitting there scratching their heads at, like, what did I just see? And I kind of need to then see the next episode to figure out what the hell I just saw. Like, that's the feeling I'm getting now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm just still trying to figure out the significance of the dream sequences, because I feel like the whole story like revolves around that. Because think about it, we still have Nora being old, working with pigeons.
That they haven't. Yeah, I know.
They only have one episode to explain that. So,
but next episode is Nora, man. It's gonna be
sure.
Like 100% Nora, so we're gonna figure that stuff out. But then, if we're paying attention to Nora, does that mean they're not gonna explain what the hell does Kevin killing himself mean? Like, I feel like that's
why does Kevin Senior ask Kevin Junior, "What's next? What next?"
I mean, dude,
as in like you're God, you get to pick what's next. So what's next?
Yeah, I got.
He's just completely lost, and he's like, okay, well. No. What a disappointment.
Dude, he's not lost. This dude died again, and everybody assumed he was dead, and he came back.
No, not Kevin. I'm talking about Kevin Sr.
Right. No, he's asking Kevin Jr. what's next because...
Oh, he died and came back. Okay.
Right. There is something special about Kevin Jr. that he keeps coming back from the dead. Like, his head was covered.
Right. Yeah, no, he drowned, and then he came back. And I'm sure there's so many Bible references here that we did not pick up on.
Oh, I would assume so as well. And
you know what? When when the Pope, the young Pope, the new Pope comes out, because the name of the young Pope too is the new Pope, which is what you used to call young Pope.
Oh, really? Is he called the new Pope?
Yeah.
Damn.
So when that comes out, we should do some minimal, learning of.
What's minimal
Pope.
learning? Like, are we
I don't
gonna
know.
read the
Just
Bible?
find something. No. Who has time for that? Obviously, a lot of people. I apologize, but
Digging yourself a hole.
Educate ourselves about the Pope and the culture behind that.
We absolutely can. And what do you think about the Catholic culture? It's fascinating. It's really good. Even if you separate it out from Christianity itself, like the political body that's the Catholic Church is amazingly fascinating. So yeah, we should absolutely do that. We can talk about it so we can know more. I'm excited that it's called the new Pope, so we no longer have that problem going forward. Somebody listened to us talk and be like, you know what, new Pope, you got it. Are you sure it's called that?
No. I'm like 85%. Maybe I just thought I read that somewhere.
And you're saying Jude Law is no longer...
No, it's going to be a woman.
All right.
I still don't know if I'm making that up or not, so... Sorry.
As far as I'm aware, you could be telling the truth, but I don't know.
I think I am. Anyways, it doesn't really look like you're drinking a... What are you drinking again?
Bloody Mary?
Oh, yeah, a Bloody Mary.
Is that a confusing
Cheers.
thing? Cheers.
So, Nima, is this episode going as bad as you think it was going to?
We don't have that much to say, so maybe it is, but it's okay.
But I feel like we could deep so much deeper.
Then if you want to dig deeper, we can dig deeper. I just don't know where to even start digging is my problem.
I know. Let's dig around.
Like, I love the fact that this episode...
Let's talk about the acting. Yeah, well, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Keep that, just write that note and we can come back to it. I love that they started this episode with such almost like a bang, and it just went through so many events really quickly, because it started with this slow conversation with Kevin and Nora, and it was nice, and it was funny, and it was awesome. But then
it went straight to him going into the water. That was greatly done.
Right. They skipped that whole sequence of thinking about it. Maybe I should do it. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe tying himself. They just went immediately to drowning. Like that. And then it went through. The whole episode picked up from there. And it basically didn't have any slow moments in the real world at all throughout this whole thing. And that's awesome. I like that. But at the same time, that's kind of what left me confused, maybe.
Wait, so... He goes out there alone, drowns himself.
Uh-huh.
And then they come out and get him out.
Right.
But he already started going through the first dream, right?
No.
Like where he wakes up on the beach. Is that pick up just from there?
No. He doesn't fully drown. As far as what the show conveys. Maybe we're missing it. But as far as what the show conveys, when it picks up, he doesn't fully drown. His dad saves him, and then they make him go under again is when he goes into the
That's when he wakes up on the beach?
Correct. With the Russian guy who's trying to kill him.
Where does it go from the beach?
What do you mean? He goes into the assassin guy who flies in, kills the big Russian dude.
There's a dog. It's the dog guy.
The dog guy, yeah.
The dog hunter. So he finds him.
And he gives him a message that you're going to kill the president. I mean, speaking of which,
where did it go from that to the president? This is what I forgot.
He puts in the ear said, talks to God, and God says to look in the mirror. And that's when they establish that looking in the mirror connects the consciousness of the two different Kevins, so he can switch back and forth.
And the dog guy, the dog whatever hunter, he tells him don't do that. He breaks everything so he knows there's something bad about looking at the flat surfaces.
Yeah, but he says that's how they catch you.
Who?
He doesn't imply who. Because obviously nobody catches him when he looks at the reflective surface.
So what happens? He finds a piece, right? Mm-hmm. In the broken glass, and then he becomes the president?
Yeah, he transfers consciousness to the president, who's his twin brother.
All right. So that's almost like Inception level.
Right. that part of it is done really well when they like you see like at the beginning of this, you see Kevin naked in the beach and he looks at his chest, the scar, and you kind of move on from it.
I thought that scar was the first time I saw it. I was like, okay, why are they showing the scar? Is it the same scar that
he got shot at?
Shot at.
That's what I thought too. And then they move on from it, and they love the fact that they come back and say, no, that scar is where they put in the
key, the launch keys or whatever.
You know what's funny is when they were talking about that whole sequence about the launch codes and stuff, they said it's the Fisher protocol or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I was thinking in my head, I was like, I've never heard of the Fisher protocol. And they explained it. I'm like...
But like Kevin knows about it already, so...
No, I'm talking about in real life. I'm like, I feel like I know enough about how these things go to know a general idea.
Is that a real thing?
No. But they've done almost all of the things real. Like the twisting of the keys is real, and like for example, most people don't know is that the people that twist the keys also each have a weapon in case the other one goes rogue. They are literally allowed to kill the other person who has the key to make sure there isn't nuclear war because somebody goes crazy. So like that part of it they've established on reality. So when they're like, oh, the Fisher protocol is going to happen, and I'm like, I've never heard of the Fisher protocol, and they explain it. And there's a part of like the dumb part of my brain is like, whoa, is that a thing we do? We implant keys in other people? And then I was like,
that was pretty deep.
Just a show.
It makes sense in a way. It's like, if you're going to go that far, are you able to do that to someone?
Yeah, but that's like Saw. That's a whole premise of Saw. Have you seen Saw?
Yeah, I've seen Saw, the first one, and then I gave up because I really don't like scary movies.
Yeah, but that's the whole premise of it is...
Yeah. Well, no, you hurt someone. How far can you go hurting someone to save yourself?
Right, or to save somebody else.
But he's not saving anyone here. He just wants to blow everything up.
That's highly debatable.
Well, that's the whole big philosophical question of this, isn't it? But
they're blowing everybody up to save them so they can all be gone.
So that they don't have to worry anymore or whatnot. Right. I don't know, man.
What? What are you thinking? Are you thinking anything?
Are you thinking anything?
I'm confused, man. That's
sorry, Nima. That sucks. I'm confused too.
It's good TV. It's really good TV. Like, for those of you that are subscribers, the previous episode that we did was Sense8, and we reviewed that. And I generally had problems with the way the show was going.
Sure.
And like,
again, when you say the show, you're talking about the whole thing, or the storyline, or the production.
All of it. Like here's the thing. This is when somebody has 13 episodes of a show to make. The problem that Sense8 had was that it felt like they were filling 13 hours, as opposed to thinking of as a way that you have as much time as you want to tell a good story. Sense8 season 2 felt like they were simply filling in 11 hours. While this show doesn't feel that way, I'm still confused.
It feels the opposite then. It feels like it's taken too long. It's opened more doors that it can close with these 8 episodes, right? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Like they're not taking their sweet time doing whatever they want. They're literally telling a story in every episode. Like there's episodes that I hate. There's episodes that I don't get. And with this episode, I feel like I got nothing. Like
it's just very artsy. All these episodes are very artsy. I feel like every single episode is meant to mean something different.
Sure.
All that going towards the end of the world story, which we still don't know if it's happening. I don't think it's happening at all. I don't think it's been happening this whole time, but it's done, isn't it? Like the end of the world was supposed to happen that day. Here's a question.
Go ahead.
Put things into perspective, maybe. You know how Lori keeps, telling everyone, I'm a doctor and you just have a head problem, which is fine in the real world. And we saw a lot of Lori in the previously on, right before the episode went on. Why was that necessary? Is it because to kind of emphasize on the fact that Kevin's just like, yeah, okay, he dies and he can come back. That's cool. Maybe he's like part of the Marvel universe now. But maybe he's just kind of still crazy. He's just imagining all this shit and voila.
What do you mean by... by all this shit? Which
I don't
part
know
of
what
it?
I'm
Do you mean
saying
like the
anymore.
dream sequence? Because like I think they showed Lori in the previously on for a couple reasons. A, previously on was literally all about Lori in the last episode.
Yes,
But
but they no. When they've been doing the previously ons, they're taking like snippets from the whole last season and the season before. I think like within the episode itself, there's a lot of editing going on where it shows very powerful scenes from like all the way till season 1 and 2.
sure.
Why?
But to establish where this episode is, you needed to know what episode 6 was. So that's like in episode 6, you can't cut around Lori being there. And I think the reason B is simply the fact that, like, for example, you know how there's a couple of different sequences that they talk about who is your Secretary of Defense and who is the Vice President, right? There's that moment of like
Right.
suspense before you find out. I think
Yeah.
showing Lori made that more suspenseful because you're like, oh, is this Lori or is this
yes,
Nora?
yes. Because each time these things happen, you're like, oh, it's probably Lori. And then when Megan came out, I thought it was going to be Lori right there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good point. So they put her in the preview maybe to make you anticipate her.
I think
coming
so.
out.
Because they
within
say
the dream, because maybe you don't want her to be dead, and if she's not dead, well, no, she might not be dead. Anyways, wow. Wait, okay, we have
yeah, I'm reading that
interesting
right
comment.
now. But while you're reading, oh man, I was gonna make a point. Oh, what I was gonna say is that goes to the whole thing that they say like a movie or a show is made a third time in the editing room, like it's remade and a different story's told when they edit it. If that's the case, then they definitely did that. Like I assume that whole previously on is never ever concepted in the script in any way. So when they got to the editing room, they realized that if they create that previously on sequence right before the show goes on, it adds a little impact to the next 60 minutes that you're about to see. But yeah,
Sure.
we can address Yoel's comment now.
Sure, I agree with that. You said the whole. I don't know what to say about that, but yeah, that's maybe it is. Maybe this is just a love story, man.
I think
A really differently told love story, but it might just be a love story. I feel like it's like weighing towards that.
like what we talked about in the previous episode, this whole series could be a different way, a crazy way of telling the Mary Magdalene Jesus story. Like there's always theories that they were not lovers, but like husband and wife or whatever you want to call it. Like maybe that's the case, and if the next episode is about Nora, it kind of fits into that category of there's a whole thing that Jesus needed Mary to be who he is, and maybe Kevin needs Nora to be who he is, and nothing spectacular may happen at all. But at the same time, episode 1 of season 3 showed Nora being old and not knowing or wanting to not talk about Kevin at all. Right?
But why is
Right.
she working with pigeons? Does she go live in literally like in a far rural place so she can get away from it all? Maybe she's in the present time and maybe she decided to forget. But then why does the person she worked with ask her, do you know of a Kevin Garvey or Kevin or whatever? And why would she say no? All this is the main question that needs to be answered next episode, right?
The pigeon thing?
Why do we see Nora when she's old and she says no when asked, did you know him? Or I don't remember what the question was.
Right.
That has to be answered, right? Why would they put that in the first episode if they don't answer it by the end of the freaking season?
You're right, because if they don't answer anything else in this show, as long as they answer that one sequence, I'll be like, oh, that's
I'll
nice.
be happy about
Right.
that. Then it like if they're able to answer that, then they answer that, and then it makes all kinds of possibilities of connections within all the little details of the whole 8 episodes.
Correct.
That everybody's scratching their heads on. So if they hopefully tie that knot really nicely at the end with why do we see Nora when she's older with the freaking birds, hopefully with that we'll all be able to connect the dots from the 8 hours we just spent watching this, and the whole series, the 3 seasons.
So, like, I texted you earlier and I said, I think Kevin dies today.
Yes, twice.
And what? Hold on. Don just said they showed old Nora in the preview. Did I miss that?
They did show the old Nora in the preview, I think.
Oh, I completely missed it. Okay. Don, thanks.
In the preview we didn't watch the preview. Yeah, no, we didn't watch the preview this time.
Oh, for the next episode.
For the next episode. Do they show... Wait, answer that, Don. Do they show her... do they show the exact same scene, or did they show old Nora in a different situation?
Oh, man, you're digging deep now. All right.
I have to know. Well, we could just watch the preview, but thankfully...
No, I would much rather have things in a preview described to me as opposed to me watching the preview, just because
it makes things interesting.
Yeah, and
then we can speculate some more.
Right. It doesn't ruin the show when I'm thinking about whatever the shot is. It's going to be completely different when I see it in real life, so it's fine.
True. Gosh, that delay suspense is killing me, man.
There's like 20-second delay on our end, and
we're waiting for Don to answer us right now. I'm sure he's already sent the answer in, but the delay with
we see the delay. We see the real live chat and the
but
YouTube
he gets
thing.
us asking the question. Wait,
different scene.
Scene. Oh my god, dude!
You mentioned that Kevin said he enjoyed going to this world dimension. Maybe that's why he would wrap his... that's exactly what I was thinking earlier.
But we don't know if he actually goes to die when he puts the
doesn't.
bag over it.
I don't think he ever gets
so
there.
what's the point of doing it? Is he trying to get there, but he's too scared to go through with it?
Yeah, that's the feeling.
And now that he's got more balls, and it's probably maybe the end of the world, he's like, fuck it, I'll try it. Who knows? I'm gonna die anyways.
Now he has a reason, and his excuse was to go help all these other people. Like, I think he knows his dad's crazy. Like, that's what they established in this episode.
But how could he think it? How could Kevin think his dad's crazy when he's the one that's able to resurrect himself?
Those are like Kevin said multiple times. Those are different things. That's a crazy thing that happened to him.
Yes, but if something crazy happens to you, right? If tomorrow you see someone flying in the sky,
right,
and the next day you see some other crazy shit, you'd be like, okay, well, I saw someone fly in the sky yesterday, so I'm sure this makes sense.
Right.
So why would Kevin think his dad's still crazy when he's going through some really, really improbable things?
Like denial, maybe? Like, because...
I don't know.
Because one crazy thing is happening to him. Like, he went through it. He doesn't know what it means, but he went through it. The other crazy thing is saying something that happened in the Bible is going to happen again. So he's going to obviously be dismissive of that for no other reason other than the fact that it means whatever happened to him means that he's the guy. He's the special guy that blah, blah, blah is going to save the world. So it's easy to be dismissive and be in denial about all those things when they establish in this episode he keeps running away from things that are important.
Yeah.
And I think that's why every time he puts a plastic over his own head is that he never actually had a proper reason to go there other than the fact that he more or less simply missed it.
So every time he put a bag on his head is because he was thinking of trying to go all the way through with it, but he ends up not doing it. Maybe he does Maybe he's gone there quite many times since last season, and that's how he's able to build those two characters within his Purgatory dream sequences. Because the first time we see him, he's an assassin. I don't know. I've scratched all of this, guys. It's not scratched at all.
Yo, are you... God, I hope you're... God, this is like one of the few times I hope our commenters are wrong about something, because that actually makes sense.
It doesn't have to make sense.
No, the Yoel's comment that this whole season was more or less... How should I say it? Like an afterthought? Like after the whole show ended, they're continuing when they didn't need to? It kind of makes sense. It gives them room, just like Yoel says, to be confusing as they want with open ends about different things.
Sure. Sure. But what is the purpose? Why would they do that? Like just for creative things or for money?
I think creative freedom. I imagine it's not for money.
It has to be at this point.
Right, because
that's why to me it like, okay, creative freedom for what? To make something that's visually awesomely pleasing with the sounds and stuff, or an actual message or a story, or a message within the story. I don't know why I'm obsessed with like, looking for messages.
Why?
Because if you have that much power that you're producing a badass show, yes, awesome. If you're really good with visual, you're making something looking really, really good. And that's one thing. That's maybe like an aspect of art that I don't understand. I feel like there should be, if you're out there and millions of people watch your shit, I feel like there should be a message. I know I could be completely wrong here. I don't want to sound like an asshole or anything.
Right.
But I don't know.
I think
Maybe that's why it works, because they know that people are going to be looking for deeper meaning to a piece of art, which is what art's supposed to do, right? Make you think.
right, make you feel something, make you think. I think a message in a way that you're thinking is not necessary for every piece of art. Not every piece of art, even if it makes you feel that way, has a message, or the message is,
Right.
Don, you're awesome. Not every message that you see in a piece of art is supposed to be this groundbreaking or life-shattering thing that you're going to step away from it thinking, oh, I'm a different person now. A piece of art can simply be something that makes you feel joy, happiness, or suspense or something.
Anything. Or oh damn, this looks cool. Just
Right.
that alone. Yeah. Well, it's like I don't know who said that, but like someone said, or maybe it's been a bunch of people saying the same thing. But when a piece of art comes out, then it's just out there, and it should be completely open to interpretation. So
Right.
you're gonna see something different than what I'm gonna see. So are we just with this show? Are we just looking at really well done, elegant piece of art?
I think so. I think this is genuinely good storytelling. It's good storytelling by people who feel confident in what they make. Like it's in the same category for me as The Young Pope, which is like 2 shows previously to what we did. It's not something I've ever experienced before. It may not be the best thing ever, but it was amazing storytelling in its own little way. And I think this is the
Sure.
same exact way. It doesn't need to
It doesn't mean to resolve as a story or anything.
right, and it doesn't need to change the way I am going forward as a human being. Unless something crazy happens in the next episode, this is more or
Right.
less going to be just a really good show. That's all
Sure.
it is. It's not going to
Sure.
change anything else. But
Will you watch it again?
probably not, simply because of the fact that we don't have time. Like
Right.
what we're trying to do over the next year, like with all the shows and all the things we're trying to do, we probably don't have
Wait,
time.
would you?
Yeah, if I had the time, I would rewatch it.
Except for episode 3 of this season, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna skip right over that one. You know, you mentioned that, but like I do a thing which I have found out that nobody else does. Is if I like something, especially when it comes to movies and TV shows, I rewatch the shit out of it. Like
Yeah,
I will.
That's weird.
I'll watch it to to the point that it's horrible, and I feel like that's what it means to me. If I never get to that point, it means that this is a perfect whatever that is. Like for me, I have watched
Okay,
Steve
I know
Jobs so many
you-
times.
The one that I liked a lot.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
have
that was a
yet to
good
find
movie.
any flaws in it. And every time I
Why
watch
do you
it,
like that? Just like Newsroom. Like, why do you like this stuff? You just really have a really good connection with Aaron Sorkin's.
writing style. That's certainly
Yeah.
the case. But like Newsroom, I can easily skip episodes and sequences. But
Sure.
when you, God, my life, one of the goals that I have is to do a piece just talking about how perfect of a thing Steve Jobs is. It almost feels like it's just one scene. You're just watching one scene and you're just addicted to that to keep going, and all of a sudden the movie's over. And it's so good.
Do you think that same kind of story could have been told if it was about someone different than Steve Jobs?
Probably not.
Okay.
And I mean, not the same kind of story, just because a lot of what I took away from watching the Steve Jobs movie was because how much I knew he impacted the world, but at the same time, how awful of a human being he simply was. Like, if he wasn't creating like Apple products, there's a good chance he could have been the next horrible dictator that would have taken on the world. He just
Yeah,
happened
sure.
to make,
Yeah, he was that smart. As long as he has something worth stored, he's going to make it happen. Yeah, totally.
right.
I don't know why, but this whole brought me to this question I asked you a few episodes ago is, could they have made such a good job telling the story of Leftovers, regardless of all the open doors that are probably not going to get closed in the storytelling, in the story itself? Do you think this would have gone so well and so beautiful without all the, religious help?
I've actually been thinking about that question because the first time I
And
answered it,
Don, yes, I agree with that. Sorry, Nima.
No, you're totally fine. I'll bring up his comments so people can see. I've actually thought about your question a while, and the first time I answered it, I feel like I answered in kind of an ignorant way that said, maybe religion is needed or it's just a way to storytell. But the more I think about it, religious undertones may simply be this guy's style. While,
Sure.
like
Yeah.
Aaron Sorkin has a different style, religious undertones kind of exist in anything that I can think of that Damon has created. And like Lost started being something science fiction and ended with talking about death and afterlife and going to heaven and all those things. And like even Prometheus, which is 100% science fiction, literally goes into what it means to be a human and what we think of as God and things like that. So
I love this stuff.
right. So maybe
That's
this
why
guy
that's
loves
why
doing
this
that.
show is really good for me.
Uh-huh.
But maybe you're right. Maybe there's okay. Well, hold on. Is this the same guy who made Prometheus?
He wrote Prometheus.
Okay, he wrote the story. Okay,
Yeah, it's
but
directed by Ridley Scott.
there was not. Religion is one thing. There's a lot of Christianity things in there. We even saw some of the Quran thing,
Right.
and those are the two biggest in our society.
They're called, I learned a term, it's called Abrahamic religions.
Okay. Does that mean that's like the connecting dot between the two?
Yeah. The connecting
Oh,
top
interesting.
between the three, actually, between
Oh, okay.
Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, is that they all root from the Abraham prophet and they build off from there, basically.
Wow, that's
I
really
think.
interesting.
I could be wrong.
I did not know that. The show brought a lot of views. Yeah,
It's not the show. Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Prometheus didn't have Christian or Muslim or Judaism undertones.
But it had
had
undertones of what we consider to be gods and what that's still a religious
sure,
undertone.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Maybe Kevin Jr. in this whole thing, he's. I don't want to say he's an atheist, but he doesn't give a shit towards one religion
He
or the
doesn't,
other.
right?
And he's just going through him as like, it could be anything. I might be losing my mind, but this might be for real. I just want to be with Nora.
Right. But I mean, if you think about it, if we're gonna bring this back to Kevin being like a Christ character, like even as an atheist, that is the only image of Christ that I'm willing to accept, is that he was genuinely a good dude. He didn't need to like none of the religious stuff, none of the God stuff had anything to do with Christ simply trying to be a good guy and trying to make it an okay time for people around him to be better human beings. Like,
Sure.
maybe Kevin's not doing that. Maybe Kevin's not making everybody around him be better just by forcing them. But obviously everybody's going through their own personal mission that is tied to Kevin in a certain way. Like John
Right.
and Michael barely had any connection with him all the way up until the point that he moved to Miracle, and now they're by his side. They're going through their own little adventure and becoming more mature human beings, I guess, because like what Michael was doing before is different than John. What John was doing before is different than John now. He's a better human being, like
Okay.
without any argument, because of Kevin.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So wait, that made me think of the first scene in this episode where they're in the bathtub, and this is happening in Miracle,
Yeah.
and they're talking about Nora's like, I want to be cremated.
Yeah.
Something along the lines like, my kids are gone. I don't know where they are. Anyways, she had a good point there. I don't remember it. Kevin's like,
I want to be stuffed.
I want to be stuffed. Yeah, I feel like this whole conversation has to have a deeper meaning. Again, it's me looking for like deeper meaning on everything in every scene.
I don't know why you do that. Like
No, either, man. I gotta stop.
like somebody's
Ruining
giving
my
you
experience, damn it.
right. Somebody's giving you something on a silver platter. Just accept what it is, and like you may hate that thing, but just accept it for what it is, because you're looking for something more than what it is on there.
Yeah.
And it's obviously going to ruin your experience.
I'm not gonna have a good time.
I took that whole sequence as just a way to establish a deep connection that
Right.
Nora and Kevin had
Yes, I think
previous
this
to
whole
that whole
episode
thing.
was about Nora and Kevin's connection.
I agree.
Yes, it
And-
totally was.
I
So-
honestly don't think there's a happy ending though. There's no happy ending between Nora and Kevin. I don't think.
Well, there's another hour. We didn't look at the preview. Maybe Don or someone that watched the preview can tell us what do you think we see in the preview?
Dude, we already know based on the episode 1 cliffhanger that there is no happy ending between them. Because why would Nora say, no, I don't know anything about a Kevin, or no, that name doesn't mean anything
You're right.
to me.
Damn it, you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe not a happy ending for them, but for Kevin at least. And Yolene's comment about Nora choosing isolation, sure.
That's a realistic
because she
ending
lost her whole
possibility.
family, and then she lost Kevin, and she just wants to deal with birds instead. Aren't those birds carrying messages anyways? Aren't they carrier pigeons?
They're carrier pigeons.
Then I want to know what the fuck she's doing there with those birds and reading the messages, and where are they going to?
You know what's funny is that you and I we're stuck on this whole messenger pigeon thing. But to the rest of the world, it might be something so common and like such an easy thing to understand
right?
Remy and I are like, what the fuck does that mean? And they're like,
What does it mean to me?
Everybody else is like, oh, they're just carrier pigeons. It's a normal thing that we do.
So what to do?
If that's the case, can somebody just tell us what the hell that means? Like, Remy and I have been stuck on it for the last like 7 weeks now. Like, what the hell?
No, I can't handle it anymore. Man.
But yo, I think your explanation of how the ending could be just simply everybody going back and Nora staying in isolation. When you think about a production cycle of a show and a show trying to end, not a series, like not a season, but a show trying to end, that's a realistic way that they could end it. Like it's an easy way to be like, all right, everybody's saying bye, and we say bye, and it's done. I hope that's not the case, because that would make me depressed that I've spent the last 7 weeks watching something that's going to end that way, but I really hope that isn't the case.
You know how there's the whole, in this season, there's a whole them having a baby thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin Sr. had crazy things, and he ended up in Australia, and he found Kevin, they watched TV, and one thing led to another, and then you see Kevin's dad at the hotel after they had a fight with Nora, him and Kevin, his son. Gosh, it's so fuck. Why can they call it different people?
I'm so confused by just your explaining this whole
I know,
thing.
I'm sorry. Everyone.
Try again, because I feel like you're going somewhere.
Thanks, man. You believe in me.
I do believe in you.
Wait, we have a comment.
Right, I agree. Because that was my point, and Yol or Remy, maybe you can point out. Didn't they establish that October 15th comes in Australia first before it comes to US?
Yes.
So does that mean the next day might be the crazy thing? Am I just reaching for shit, or?
Again, time zones, man.
Time zones.
Man-made time zones.
Craziest
Thinking we can calculate the end of the world. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
No, so I think my point was with Kevin Sr. and Kevin Jr., it was around there, and then I got distracted.
The hotel room, and you said that
maybe, yeah, going back to, maybe a potential baby out there, a Kevin baby. Maybe she gives birth, and that baby needs to be protected because he's the next installment of Jesus.
Nora gives birth?
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. I'm just saying.
What do you mean, yeah, who knows? Like, it's not going to be just like some random character.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I think, you're connecting the dots properly. I just don't, there's one missing dot that they've never been in a good...
fucking pigeons and Nora when she's old.
Well, not even that. They could separate after the fact, but Nora and Kevin haven't been in a kind of a place to shag, man. Like they
fucked at the airport.
Oh, sorry. Damn, you're right.
I know, man.
Damn,
so
you're right.
Maybe there's a baby in the way for Nora. And
no,
Kevin.
You're right, because they've dropped hints about that, about her removing her birth
They've been dropping hints about her being pregnant. And, well, maybe not, but there's like things that kind of point to that direction.
Yeah, she removed her birth control thing and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know what any of this means.
I don't know either, man. But I feel like you're going. That would be cool. That would be a cool way to do it.
I'm just gonna set it's the obviously our government conspiracy theories are out the window.
Oh, I mean, we don't know that, because if the next episode's about Nora, and where we left off Nora was when she was about to go into that thing.
Yes.
Maybe all the cool shit that we're hoping to happen will be in episode 8. What if she goes to like a
Maybe.
Stargate? What if they connect this to the Stargate universe? There's like a little thing and they go through it. No.
I don't know. Maybe Marvel. I just watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So amazing.
I haven't seen number 2 yet.
I can't believe how good that movie was. It's like one of my top 10.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I've heard it's actually really character driven for a big movie. Which
So character driven. Like they're doing something else, something refreshing.
Yeah.
Maybe you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading a comment from Robert. Robert,
Oh,
thanks for
okay.
tuning in, by the way. You're awesome.
Yeah,
We appreciate
Thanks. Thanks everyone for commenting today. Wow, that's kind of awesome. Thanks, Dawn. I don't know how you pronounce it
it.
different.
Can I ask our viewers? I did this whole screen that you guys are seeing right now, where your chats come up on the screen. I now just realized that maybe some of you don't want to see your chat on the screen. So
You're a jerk, man.
right? So let me.
Unbelievable.
I'm just gonna
How
quickly
could you
switch
do
away
that to
from that
people?
screen. As if nothing happened. Don't worry about it, guys. No, we'll definitely. I think that's a good thing for our audience to see their chat, and hopefully, as long as everybody's on board, I'm gonna keep that going and make it better.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully, we won't get kicked off of YouTube.
No, that's a regular thing.
So, what if, in the end of this whole story, maybe the future where Nora is at the end of episode 1 with the pigeons, maybe right there in that same storyline, maybe the president is Kevin.
What?
Or maybe he's an assassin. Maybe they bring everything back together and showing like, I know that makes no sense.
Wait, do I hear myself?
Oh yeah, I think a little bit. No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Mariah's watching us on the couch.
Aw, she's awesome. No, man. Because in that universe, why would Nora be the only one that's old? Everybody else is the same age.
We only see Nora, man. We only see Nora. I'm not saying that she's in a different universe. I'm saying she might be on the same,
Like you're saying the Purgatory
regular
thing?
life, huh?
You're saying the Purgatory thing?
No. Ooh, maybe she's.
No, what are you trying to say?
No,
Don't lose don't let me impact your train of thought. What are you trying to say?
I don't know what I was trying to say, man. I think maybe. I don't think. I just speculate. Maybe all these purgatory dreams are gonna come together into the real life, kind of like this.
Like you're saying
I
real
don't know
life.
I'm gonna stop talking, man.
Are you trying to say
is
you
crazy.
think real life might actually catch up with the purgatory sequences at some point? That's a cool way to think about it. That's possible.
That would be a cool way to wrap it up.
Maybe last ask Nora. Like the next episode is called the Book of Nora. Like it could be the thing that maybe wraps up the whole thing. This could be like either the next episode is gonna suck and we're all gonna walk away being really confused, or it's gonna be super satisfying to the point that be like, that's
Maybe
great.
Nora goes into the scientists who were actually legits, and she's so mad she breaks the machine, which fucks up everything on Earth, and she's one of the only few survivors left, and they have to use pigeons again because they can't use their phones anymore to find survivors. I don't know. Who knows?
What if? Oh, this is a good way to wrap up Kevin's cycle. What if Kevin goes back to Nora in the next episode? They do whatever melodramatic, whatever you want to do in a TV episode. Some people cry, some people laugh. Right, they do all that. Get out of the way. But what if Kevin is the one that goes through this machine, not Nora? I don't see a reason for him to go through because he didn't really lose anybody.
Lost anybody super important.
But what if he's the one that goes through? Because that way, Kevin's gone. He sacrifices himself as Christ would. I don't know what the hell that means in this story, but he would have done it, and Nora would be left living her years without Kevin, and people, I assume, ask about, and then he becomes a legend and all those things. Man, can
But
there be
why the Book of Nora? Maybe. Gosh.
the book of Mary Magdalene. There's a bug on my wall right there. Okay.
You know how? Oh, that's who you were telling to go away earlier. The bug.
Was I
I
telling
was like,
somebody?
who is he talking to? Hold on. So maybe. Oh gosh, this is crazy. You know how in this episode Kevin kills Kevin
Yeah.
in the dream? maybe he sacrifices himself to save the world. Because clearly, that's like, you know, maybe he thought maybe it is the end of the world, whatever, and he just launches all the missiles, and that means he doesn't really care about the world, and he's just very selfish.
Maybe, but like I said, like they've established that there's a whole group of people that want this world to end. Like they feel left out to whatever that could be going on. Like obviously death might be different than being departed in this, you know, in this universe, in this lore, but they've already established that's why the guilty remnant became big, is they went on the idea that it doesn't mean anything to be alive. It doesn't mean anything to have these connections to your family and to your loved ones because they could be gone at any moment.
Right.
So people want to be gone.
That's the whole premise. Yeah, that's their whole thing. Yeah, totally. I get that.
What if she dies and he kills himself to be with her Shakespeare style? In that case, that means she didn't really die and she's going to come back to life and be all mad that, you know, Kevin's dead, and then she's going to kill himself. Because Shakespeare sucks at writing endings.
That's funny.
Dude, Shakespeare writes like
Nima, there's people who love Shakespeare.
They should really like Shakespeare because he wrote incredible literature,
amazing stuff. Yeah,
and then it seems like he got to the end of it, is like, holy crap! I've been writing 200 pages, and I don't know what to do.
It's time for this story to be over.
Everybody dies. Like there's a whole sequence of
you die.
Right.
This is so.
Hamlet. Like in Shakespeare stories, you can almost take a bet. Does everybody die? Yeah, more than likely. That's how it's gonna end.
Okay. What if Kevin, he goes and finds Nora in the next episode, and you know they have their moment like you described earlier, and
God.
and because of the time delay, because right now it's like, well, I'm gonna guesstimate mid-afternoon in Australia, which means it's not, which means the day just started somewhere else, some other places in the world, kind of ish. I don't really feel like doing math right now, everyone. So maybe he goes there and the end of the world starts and he has to sacrifice himself to save the world, and she's left alone now.
Okay. That's doable. That's possible.
That's more logical, right? That sounds like something they could do easily in a way.
Right, and they, as long as they do it in a way to keep the sacrifice small enough to not for the whole population to know.
Robert's getting pretty
right.
Are we getting pretty wacky, or?
I'm just gonna assume it's us. Dude, we've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes now.
So, are you tired of my face? Should we just hang up?
I was tired of your face like a decade ago, but here we are still.
Yep.
Can we?
That's up to you. Are you done talking? I mean, we could keep going for another hour if we really start getting deeper, but
let's not.
You know, you save some for. Well, yeah. If we keep going, maybe we'll figure out what happens next episode. I hope. I don't think. I'm not a douchebag like this, but
okay.
What if he still ends up sacrificing himself like Jesus? Whether it's to save the world or because he wants to think he saved the world. I don't know. Maybe he has to sacrifice himself to save Nora from someone.
All right, and Nora is his world. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Man, we're just writing magic together right here.
So everyone that's watching, thanks so much for sticking around. The ones who just showed up, and then the ones who've been around for a few episodes now. Thank you so much. We're gonna keep delivering this nonsense.
Yo, that's
weekly or more. It's gonna keep happening because we're having so much fun with Nima. And
this crazy thing that you just saw, we're committed to giving you multiple years of this going forward.
100%, 110%.
No kidding, Robert. Has us all delirious at the moment.
They're getting pretty crazy, that's for sure.
They're getting cray-cray.
Cray.
All
super
right.
Crazy.
Can we wrap it up?
Really? I hope they have the same theme music in the intro next one.
They're not going to.
That was so satisfying.
I know, but they're not going to.
Well, what are they going to do? They better put a really good song in there.
Yeah, but
or nothing at all.
But before we even get off, like, remember, like, this is such a good job of making a show that they've literally used the intro music as a set piece in every single episode. They've gone from it being like a continuation of the previous one to every song means something and it has to do with that episode. So I imagine they used the traditional opening theme for a reason, and it more than likely will not be back next episode. I don't want it to be back. It was such a nice surprise and a nice gift that it came back. Just leave it be. Like, that's how it should go away.
Yeah. No, as soon as the show's over, Nima, I'm really, and as soon as we're done talking about it at the last episode next week, I'm just gonna, it's gonna be out of my mind.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna stay in my mind as like, okay, that was a great piece of art. Period.
Right.
Hopefully, maybe I'll just go crazy and always bring it up.
For you and anybody else who's watching, if you want to see a piece of art that will leave an impact on you and it's completely fucked up, watch Neon Demon. It is one of the weirdest, most incredible things I've ever seen that I really want to rewatch, but because of how weird it is, I refuse to rewatch it because I don't want to be traumatized.
It was probably pretty dark, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but dark not in a meaningful way. It's just simply dark because the guy who made it is like thinking dark shit.
It's
so
dark, and
good.
why not? Is it like a stream of consciousness from the maker of that piece, pretty much?
I guess so. Like his previous movies are really good. Like Drive is a really good movie, but obviously it had dark, gruesome things. But Neon Demon takes it to a whole new level of what kind of a human being would make something like this. But
scary or gory or what? Like, what is the...
Gory for sure, not scary. Scary in a way that like it's haunting. It doesn't have any scary like jumping at you. You're just like you're as you're watching this movie very early on, you're realizing every scene that you watch, it's going down a darker and darker and darker and darker path. To the end of it, you're just like, please fucking end. So like
how
I can.
far can this go? Yeah, but why would you? Why do you?
It's a really like. It's a piece
like
of
that.
art. It's a piece of art. Like it's
Sure.
an artist making something that universally is going to be hated, but he makes it because he doesn't give a fuck, and it turns out the way it did, and it's awesome.
Well, if it's awesome in the fact that it made you, it literally like gave you an experience of you coming out of yourself, sure. And realizing there's so many different things out there, but I don't know.
But I'm gonna watch Split next. You watched Split recently. I'm gonna watch that probably over the next.
Split was
couple
good,
days.
man. I don't know if we should do it because, like you said, it's been out for a while. Is it worth it?
But now I'm thinking we have quite a few weeks to fill, so we might as well. We can if
maybe
we want to.
Maybe we can talk about it for like really shortly. We should find out what movie comes out within the break, not at the end like Wonder Woman, which would be awesome to watch, but whatever. And then we have House of Cards too.
Starts this Tuesday, hopefully, if we can do it.
And then if we can throw in more than an episode a week on that, we're gonna have to. So maybe the weeks that we don't do leftovers, we'll finish House of Cards, and go on.
Right. I was thinking we could do the premiere episode this Tuesday, and then we can do like 2 or 3 episode reviews as one. Whatever. We'll talk about it off air.
Like Leftovers and Lost, it's just about a group of people all alone in the world.
Yeah.
Which is like, hello, we're humans.
I'm telling you, connect those two, and it would be a bomb ending for a series.
They can't do that, man.
Why not? Have him get on an airplane on the way back to US.
How long? Okay, hold on. How long? Oh, that's a good point. But Nora's alive, Nima.
Not everybody dies in the Lost universe, man. Like, what point are you trying to make? Most people are totally.
I thought you were saying that the plane from Lost had.
Right. So Nora could stay in Australia, wherever the hell the plane took off from.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
But
I mean, that'd be great. But didn't I debunk that when we first had the idea?
You definitely did. You definitely did.
How?
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember.
I have no idea, but you definitely did. You for sure did.
Yeah, because they don't talk about the departure at all.
They wouldn't know because they were lost. They lost communication. See, dude.
Yeah, but that no, because that means that would have need to happen 7 years before, before the departure, 7 years ago. And then how do you put Kevin in this plane that crashes 7 years later?
just like totally like deflated all hope I had of this.
I cannot believe there's people watching us right now.
Yeah. What are you doing, people? No, but thank you. You're awesome. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
If you haven't yet, we would love it if you could subscribe. Hit that SC button that's on the top bottom right of your screen. I'm putting it the wrong way, but bottom right of your screen. It's over there. Yep, exactly where Remy's pointing. We'll be back in a few days with House of Cards. We'll see how that goes. It's going to be awesome. And then we'll be back next Sunday with the finale of this show. For the love of God, please be a good finale.
Please, please, please answer the question.
It's not going to happen. But have a good night, everybody. I'm Nima.
I'm Remy. Good night.
Good night. Oh my God, hour and 15 minutes.
Hey, go us, man.
I thought you were going to say go. I was like, whoa.